Hello and welcome. My name is Thomas Kevin Dolan, the author and writer of Little Fag, A Journey of Self-Acceptance and Healing. And today from my memoir, I will read chapter 7, begins on page 250. The title of the chapter is A Willingness to Do Some Reflecting. I had reached the middle of my life, and still I was choosing to suffer. My partner and I stopped mid-argument, mouths filled with unspoken accusations. You're too young. You lack maturity. You have no connection to God. I thought angrily, blaming him yet again for so much that was wrong in my life. Instead, I found myself saying, I love you. However, something is calling me to change how I relate to you. I agree, he quietly said. The exchange was seismic. I was split open, raw. It was true that when we crack open, we then can let the light in. I could no longer pretend others were hurting me. I could only acknowledge I'd been hurting myself all along. What I braved. It wasn't long before we created a separation agreement and began to navigate the waters of becoming friends. We also chose not to leave the home we shared, committing to doing our work around the lessons that inherently existed in the relationship we had. I chose a course of integrative coaching called Healing Your Heart. The basis of the work is discovering the lessons or gems available because of having had the relationship, healing your heart, and using the learning in perhaps a future relationship when the time was right. My coach asked me to write all the gory details of what went wrong. She asked me to hold nothing back. Don't be enlightened or spiritual, she said. So I let it rip. During one session, she asked what disturbed me the most about why I didn't think the relationship worked. Instantly, I said, he's too young. If he was more mature, the relationship would have flourished. Noticing the emotional charge that went along with my response, my coach asked me what the feeling was for me under the story that my partner was too young. I immediately noticed anger. She asked what was under the anger. I noticed fear. Then she asked me to connect to the fear to see what it was about. Here's what I heard when I asked fear what the issue really was for me. You are scared of how old you are. You don't think anyone would love you as a 50-year-old gay man. This is why you stayed with your younger partner. If you left him, nobody would love you because of your age. That was my story. In one fell swoop, I learned it wasn't his age that was the issue. It was my fear of being the age I was. So instead of healing my ageism, I attacked his youth. I was devastated. I chose to work on accepting my age and healing my fear of 50. The work was so profound for me, the healing so deep that when I tell people my age, they playfully argue with me. Most importantly, I was able to go back to my former partner, apologize, and ask for his forgiveness around the totally false story I manufactured from my frightened ego. Thankfully, he forgave me. Today, he is my best friend. I would discover there were other issues that I had previously blamed him for that were actually all about me. It was a humbling journey of healing. What I braved by letting go of the pain of a failed relationship, of even beating myself up for my mistakes, was healing my heart. I supported myself in moving forward in my life and letting go of old, worn-out stories. The unlearning. I love hearing the laughter of my former partner. I notice it fills my heart with joy. It's one of the benefits of healing our relationship and being in each other's lives with the privilege of calling each other friends. My family, from mom down to my siblings, all taught me to never befriend a former loved one after the relationship faded. From mom's separation from dad to the multiple marriage failures of my brothers and sisters, that message was clear. Get them the hell out of your life. I really had no idea what was next for me as I let go of our relationship And to this day, I'm proud of choosing to be okay with not knowing. The arrogant part of me wanted to figure it out. Yet instead, I sat and allowed myself to be comfortable with the discomfort. With a commitment to continuing to be friends and leading into the full range of what that meant, we both felt pain that each of us had a hard time being with. Yet we trusted that the love we once shared might be a strong enough foundation for us to lean on. This former partner taught me how to play. He gave me an ability to rekindle my ability to laugh. These are two of the legacies I have from him in this lifetime. Some invited me to let him go completely. That didn't wash all that well with my heart. What a great choice not to have listened to those people. His energy is effusive. From the moment I met him in 2002 in Sydney, Australia, I realized his light shone from a place of innocence. I loved his smile, his giggle was infectious, and his heart was powerfully generous. I'd come to realize his impact on my life would inspire me to heal my wounds. It's a gratitude I hold for that inspiration, which continues to breathe life into my daily journey. When I've shared with some people about the connection I continue to cultivate with him and how my husband and he celebrates a friendship, it opens people up to their own insecurities about how they show up for the people with whom they had relationships. Sometimes other gay men insinuate that there still must be a sexual connection between us. Recently, he, my husband, and I were greeted at the entrance to a concert with, "Here's my favorite Vancouver throuple." We all laughed. A friend one day chimed in with this comment: "There's no way you can be married, still have a connection with your ex, and not be fooling around." I was quick to point out that the observation might simply be a projection of his own stuff. I replied, "Might it be in your life with a former partner that you couldn't stay connected without having sex as a benefit?" A hush fell over the moment we were sharing. I also added that I've learned not to put an X through anybody in my life. They all have come to me for a reason, season, or lifetime. They all came to support me in learning something. They all happened to me, they all happened for me, and not to me. The men in my life that I've had significant relationships with will always be former partners, not my exes. Being in relationship with him has been my highest good and is helping to deliver me to a life beyond that I could possibly imagine. In healing of that relationship, there were times that I acknowledged the sadness as I made my way in life with him as a friend and not as my partner. Yet today, I realize I've been able to heal my heart because of him. I hold him as one of my greatest teachers. I continue to receive the gifts because I choose to love him. I am profoundly grateful. I have love for him today. The unlearning for me was trusting a force deeper than separation, hate, and dislike, and not continuing my family's unconscious practice of tossing people out of my life. Love always wins. Thank you, TCL, for being one of my powerful teachers in this lifetime. I love you. Oh, the blessing of forged love, the blessing of forged friendship, the blessing of realize that none of it was forged. The blessing in realizing that this man came into my life a long time ago, at a time when I was powerfully insecure with who I was. And yet, on some level, I think he was able to reflect back to me the qualities that existed in me. I, at the time, was busy uncovering them. I have such tremendous gratitude to Ty. He, as I read to you, is a profound teacher. And most importantly, he too found this immense courage to walk with me at times, to heal what was an intimate relationship, and create for me, in my experience, of a best friend, a grand relationship. And in the spirit of loving friends, this is most profound for me. That when you commit to and do work that is connected to growing a relationship. And it also is an agreement you have with the other person. That's how love grows, right? Love is a verb for me, not a noun. I show that, and I'm constantly shown that by not just Ty, but other people in my life. So what I feel really, really grateful for is trusting the whisper, and it was to stay connected to him, right? I remember literally saying to him in the midst of us beginning to kind of deconstruct the intimate relationship, can we please continue to share our home together? This cancer boy, right, this dog boy, really values home. And I'm so grateful he said yes. It wasn't easy all the time. We had to learn actually how to sit with each other in a different way, not side by side. We did that in an intimate relationship. Now with a little bit of space. That was painful to learn, but we got the lesson. And what we were able to see available to us that was greater than the pain we would have experienced by saying goodbye to each other permanently, probably for no reason other than me thinking that's what Dolans were supposed to do. I don't know what it would have been for him, but ultimately that's not a choice that we made. And I'm really proud of that, particularly in a gay male community, where what I hear, there's a tendency to toss a former partner away and call them an ex. And I'm called not to do that. That this man will always be in my life, and I'm so blessed that he can share a relationship with me and my husband. And it's so wonderful to walk ahead of the two of them when we're together, be it here in Honolulu or traveling or in Vancouver, and turn around and the two of them are talking or laughing or giggling. I think to myself, how did I become so blessed to have a friendship that I hold dear with Ty and have it valued by my husband, but also to witness that the two of them have a relationship. How did I become so blessed? Not one I think I'll ever figure out in this lifetime, and it's not important to figure out in this lifetime. It's an experience I have. It's one that I treasure, and I will continue to put a tremendous amount of energy into growing this relationship with Ty. I love him, I'm blessed, and I know that he's here for me.